Hello and welcome to the agenda with me, Graham Hughes, and Phil Moorhouse. How you doing, Phil? You all right, mate?
All right. Need some
Yeah?
more ice.
You need some more ice. Do you want to go get some more
Ice.
ice, baby?
Got ice, it's fine.
Hey,
There we
listen.
go.
So we've got a question for you. Should Starmer fight on? That is the
No,
question. Okay, short
no.
show. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.
Like, there's
He
multiple
said
reasons why
he
not.
said he's
Like,
going to
the
though.
the the one, I hope
He
not.
said he's going to.
I know he says he's going to do. Politicians say they're going to do all sorts of
All
things.
right, well, before we get on to that, let's just say hello to everyone in the chat. We've got Lost Missionary in there. We've got Gallifrey and Wren. We've got Svax. We've got Diz in there as well, Liam Furhurst and others. If you want to join our friendly friends in the friendly chat, just hit the subscribe button and wait for a minute. And then you'll be able to opine openly. But don't be a troll or our mods will squish you. You'll get squished. Anyway, sorry, Phil. Go on.
So, I mean, obviously, so the people who want Burnham to replace Starmer would say no anyway because they want Burnham to replace Starmer. But even the ones who think that Starmer should stay, it's like Andy Burnham is going to challenge him. Andy Burnham is going to have the numbers to do it, and Andy Burnham will win that leadership contest.
Yes.
So all it can do is damage. Like David Blunkett, for example, was saying, Labour need to have a good debate and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that is actually true. Labour should 100% have a real good debate and stuff like that. But he says a leadership contest does that. He says it doesn't. It doesn't. A leadership contest would absolutely trigger debate, but it doesn't trigger conclusions.
Yeah.
Because a leadership contest, like imagine, let's just pick three policy areas: the economy, healthcare, immigration, say. So you could have three leaders, and maybe one of those leaders has the economic policy that most of the party thinks is best. Another one has the healthcare policy that most think is best, and another one has the immigration policy most thinks best. One of those leaders wins, and they don't adopt the best policies of their they just adopt they've got their policies. They've already campaigned on their policies, so you just get everything. So you don't ever have you do get a debate with leadership contests, but you don't get any conclusions.
No.
So if they want a debate, have a debate. Don't try and use a leadership contest for it, because it don't work. All that will happen, all this chaos that Keir Starmer's been warning about, that's what happens.
Yeah. Now,
that is what happens.
Can I ask if the reason why we're talking about this, Andy Burnham won in let's call it a landslide last night, a landslide victory. He got more votes than all the other candidates put together. He took 54.8% of the votes. If he had squeaked it, say he had got, let's say 15,000 votes, and the refucker had got 14,000 votes, and Restore Britain had got 3,000 votes. What would you be saying this morning? Would you be saying, yeah, he should go for it, or you should be like,
he should still go for it because he still remains the best hope? But what I would be saying at that point is I'd be worried. I'll tell you what, because if that is what happened, this is what I would say. During the campaign, Andy Burnham, it was a solid enough campaign, but I'll tell you what it lacked. It lacked a contract. Donald Trump, during his presidential election, I mean, he talks all sorts of shit, but one of the big shits he talks about was, and he said this a lot, he said, in 12 months after me becoming president, count it, he said, write it down, 12 months, your electricity bills will be halved at least. Now, that is a really clear contract sounding promise, isn't it? You're giving them a time frame, and no, he didn't, of course not, because he was lying bastard. But nonetheless, as a campaign tool, you're setting out a clear policy and a clear time frame.
Hey,
Andy Burnham,
Phil, what was the time frame for ending the war in Ukraine for Donald Trump?
Next day, 24 hours.
24 hours. How's he doing on that? Sorry to interrupt. Go on.
I mean, he didn't do that well on the Iran war. That was going to be a maximum of 6 weeks.
Do you think that Andy Burnham's been too woolly then, and not?
No, because he won by a big margin. But if he'd have won by a small margin, I would have said that what he didn't say to people was, in a year's time, this will be the difference. He couldn't promise the difference because he can't campaign to become prime minister. There's that undercurrent there. But he could say, 1 year from now, this is the change I want to bring. And he could have said something very specific that would have like chimed with people. And I would have said, if he'd have only just sneaked it, I would have said he should have done something like that.
Right.
But he didn't just sneak it. It
No.
was a beast of a result, so no criticism.
Yeah. Do you think this is a Labour recovery story, or is it just Andy Burnham?
Just anyone else would have lost. Yeah. He's locally popular. Like there's one of my viewers who lives there.
Wasn't there a by-election for a councillor in Bury though who monitored it against the refuckers last night?
But I didn't actually see any council ones. I saw the other ones. But you can get that. I mean, but for a Westminster thing, you know, I mean, there's some seats they could win in a by-election, but I wouldn't trust any. Like, there's people saying if Starmer's deposed, which he will be, would he leave Parliament? He better bloody not. Stay there at least till the next election. You don't want to inflict another by-election on us.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I suppose even though it is this is a Burnham win, but it proves that Labour can beat Reform in leave-heavy northern seats. You know, the right person in charge.
Not the right person in charge. So this is my interpretation. Right now, there's lots of people who voted Labour yesterday. A lot of them would have voted Labour with just a normal candidate. They got a lot of
tactical votes from the Greens.
They would have had that as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there was all that in the mix.
Thank you for that, by the way.
There would have also been a big chunk of voters who, the same ones who voted Reform UK in exactly the same area last month and swept the board.
Yeah.
Right. What they voted for, what they weren't voting for Reform UK last month and Labour yesterday. What they were voting for was change.
Yeah.
Andy Burnham was promising that change, and he can deliver it quicker than Reform UK can. So what people were voting for was change. And if he delivers change to their estimation, because remember, I can argue that Keir Starmer is introducing change and positive change.
Yes.
But the people don't think that, and that's all that matters. So Andy Burnham, it's not enough for me in a year's time to be going, oh, but he's done this and this and this. If no sod knows about it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So he has to deliver the change that those people will recognise and appreciate. And he doesn't have to solve everything by 2029. That's impossible anyway. But he has to get people feeling we're going in the right direction. That's what that's his job. And I'm even going to say he doesn't even have to win the next election. He just has to make sure there can be a decent sized progressive coalition possible, because he's big on electoral reform anyway. And he's quite likely now to put he's even said during the campaign that we should have electoral reform. So I see no reason why he shouldn't authorize a commission. It might not be his first order of business, but I see no reason why he shouldn't authorize a commission, let's say sometime next year, to do the legwork on it and then put something positive in the manifesto. And then, you know, that makes it easier to work with other parties anyway, because that's what they want to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you think, though, that this helps? I mean, I know a lot of people are waking up this morning going, thank God for that. But, I mean, if Burnham can beat the combined efforts of reform and restore, and then that doesn't just mean
to spare.
That is not just them. That is also Elon Musk, who's funding restore. That's also Christopher Harborne and other crypto billionaires who are funding refuck. I mean, I genuinely think that the right have a ceiling, and one of the issues that the right have got is they are split now like never before. Did you see the footage of there was an incident with the bus with the refuckers and the restorers having a face off, and it's just like, it's a wonderful thing to watch, but it's like, oh, like heaven. And there was a political commentator who was talking about how this is a result of the conservative movement is dead, as in conservative with a small c. None of them on the right.
They've been silent for too many years. They don't
want to keep anything conserved. They don't want to conserve anything. They want change. And conserving stuff is dead easy. You just keep everything the same. There's only one way of doing it. But when it comes to change, there are so many ways of doing it. There's so many orders of ways of doing it. What takes priority? What can you put on the back burner? Keir Starmer still gets shit now, even though he got rid of the 2-child benefit cap and he's brought in free school meals for children as being a kid starver, which is the opposite of what he is.
Exactly. It's expanded free school meals and introduced breakfast as well.
They wanted it on day one, Phil. Day one. So, I mean, this is the thing. When you change anything, you're going to have and this is what has riven the left with splits for years. You've got the Greens want the environment to be put first. Labour want workers' rights to be put first. The Lib Dems want
social
whatever
rights
it is.
First. Right, social rights, to be fair, that's their thing.
Social rights to be put first. So, whereas, in reality, a lot of the left-leaning parties are pretty similar to each other in terms of policy. They're not that far apart.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, it's a
all
difference in priority.
Are the same as well. It's just a difference of priority. They all hate immigrants. They all hate trans people. They all hate, whoever else is the political target. Single mums. But yeah, so I like the idea that this has helped kill the idea. I hope it's killed. No, let's say it's mortally wounded, maybe, or wounded slightly.
I would
the idea that the hard right is unstoppable. Because we've been saying this before, Phil, about you talked about this, about what's his name? Nigel Farage having a ceiling. Like there are people who actually hate him and they will vote anyone but him or his party.
Yeah, the other thing is that there's as they get close to power as well, we're going to get more. Nigel Farage has got more scandals. If you look at the difference between Gorton and Denton, and Makerfield from Nigel Farage's point of view, Gorton and Denton, remember the big thing with Matt Goodwin. Do you remember their campaign office, which was going to be their constituency office, and it had a picture of Matt Goodwin on it, which is normal. Constituency office, they don't always, but they often have a picture of the intended MP or the candidate. But it had a picture of Nigel Farage there as well. There was like these two doors. One had Matt Goodwin, one had... And Nigel Farage went out campaigning. He campaigned in Gorton and Denton. He was nowhere to be seen in Makerfield. He tried to do a couple of things where he filmed himself pretending to campaign, but he didn't actually get out there.
Is that because of the 5 million?
Leveler. I think probably it's the 5 million. But for whatever reason, he thought that his presence on the campaign trail would be a liability for the party. And that, what a Reform UK without Nigel Farage.
Exactly.
They'll still exist. But
that's a mortal wound for them.
It really is. They'd still be a viable party, but they would struggle to get over the line in a lot of contests.
Yeah. A lot.
But that's the thing. And, if you just keep him away from the public by just pointing out all these scandals, if you start to get traction on these scandals, he's not going to be as much of an asset for them.
Yeah. And also, the argument against them is that they're just all a bunch of washed up Tories who had jumped off the Tory ship onto a lifeboat.
A lot of them are.
Nigel Farage has provided. Without Nigel Farage, that argument goes all the way, doesn't it? Everyone who's in. Well, even Nigel Farage used to be a Tory, didn't he?
If you think about it, Lee Anderson, former Tory. He's former everything, to be fair, but former Tory. Suella Braverman, former Tory. Robert Jenrick, former Tory. Sarah Poachin, she wasn't a Tory MP, but she was a Tory. Then what's the other one? Kruger, former Tory.
Yeah.
They are there's only probably Richard Tice and Nigel Farage who haven't actually been. I don't think either of them have been in the Conservative Party.
I know that Farage was a Conservative supporter in the 90s.
He was a fan of Thatcher.
Yeah. But he was also a Green. He was a Green in the 1980s.
Yeah.
But then again, Lee Anderson, he was Labour.
They were, yeah.
The thing is, looking forward to Regrout UK.
A lot of people aren't necessarily, aligned with they join a party. They're not necessarily aligned with that party's core values. Like there'll be people in the Green Party recently who are just entryists. They don't necessarily care about the environmental policy. Yeah. Some people just use political vehicles.
Yeah.
So you get it everywhere.
But so we'll move on to Starmer now. Like, if he decides to fight on, that's not going to look like political strength, is it? That's going to look like personal stubbornness at this point.
It is, especially if he loses heavily. It's just, and the thing is, so if he joins in, Wes Streeting will as well, because there'll be no harm in Wes Streeting joining as well. It's not the number that will be the issue. It's the fact it'll be taking place and provide paralysis for government for 2 or 3 months, as well as delay what inevitably will be Andy Burnham's project to win the next election.
Yeah.
And it's the pointlessness of it. It's not like there'll be some people who I think Starmer should go anyway. There'll be some people who don't, but it doesn't matter. That's not a factor in the consideration, because Starmer, if it was the case that Starmer might be able to beat Burnham in a leadership contest, then it becomes a case of whether Starmer should lead the party or not. But it's all totally irrelevant. Andy Burnham will win that leadership contest all day long. It will just cause damage to Labour and the government unnecessarily.
Yeah. And could this risk, if he doesn't step down, could it risk turning into a Labour civil war?
No, because I think if you look, there's lots of different. It's not like a factional battle. There's lots of all across Labour who are basically going, yeah, Andy Burnham. Like even a lot of Starmer's. Remember,
he's
the guy who stood
by
down
the
for Burnham,
and he's supported by the hard left as well.
Yeah,
well, not the hard left, but
I mean, the guy who stood down for Burnham was a Starmer ally.
Yeah,
like even some Starmer allies are going, yeah, it's not working.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm hoping what happens is there will obviously be an attempt at negotiation. I'm hoping what Starmer says is, look, there's this. He accepts reality that whether he thinks he's the best person to lead or not doesn't matter. He will lose, but if there's like some really important bit of legislation he wants to do, this is really important to me. The best thing, what they might do is say, okay, we'll give you a bit of time for that. But given that we're coming up to summer, I would say the best thing to do there would be for Burnham to say, look, I'll tell you what we'll do. You can appoint the minister that has to oversee that legislation, and I will back them 100%. So it will happen exactly as you want it to happen.
Yeah.
You choose the minister, and I will back them.
Yeah.
And that'll be the deal.
What? It doesn't look like he's going to do this, though, does he? He's come out this morning.
We don't know.
Said he's
we don't. Yeah, I know. But again, that's because there hasn't been a challenge yet. And also, he may or may not believe it. He may just be saying it because he can't say it when there hasn't actually been a challenge. He might as well resign today. And Burnham
that's something I said before the election.
He's still got to be sworn in.
Yeah.
So wait for him to be sworn in.
Next Tuesday is going to be interesting because that's when the next cabinet meeting is scheduled.
So I would just say, if it takes a couple of weeks, take a couple of weeks. I would say don't do anything stupid.
Yeah,
don't have
don't all resign en masse.
Don't do it at all. Spend a week or two just talking and just negotiate and say, look, this is going to happen. Make peace with it. But you have done good work. We don't want you going out like this, Truss. We want you going out on your own terms to an extent.
So what would that look like? Would that look like a 2-month period?
No, for me, it would look like what's really important to you, and as long as Burnham's prepared, you can appoint a junior minister, not a cabinet minister. Burnham has to appoint those, but you can appoint the junior ministers to look after this legislation. I will back it, right? I won't do the dirty on it. I will back it. It will go through. I mean, obviously, you can't legislate for, ironically, MPs or the Lords battering things about. But I will, and if there's anything needs to be changed, I will consult with you. Yeah. I'm not going to freeze you out. I will consult with you. That is the deal. Go to the palace next Friday.
Right. Okay. That quick.
Yeah, that quick. Because this is the process. The process is there has to be a challenge, but make sure you've got the deal first. Then Burnham challenges. He gets the 80 odd MPs. No one else does. And then at that point, however long you give it, 48 hours or whatever, that's it. Then no one else gets it.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Go to the palace. Could be the week after.
But hang on. Doesn't Starmer as leader automatically?
Only if he wants to.
Okay, so you won't automatically get put into a competition.
Why would he if he didn't want to? If he just says, I will not. I have now been persuaded that it's the best thing for the country for me not to.
Yeah. And do you think that there's any way back for Starmer? We talked about this before, where he said he shouldn't be in the cabinet.
He shouldn't. Only thing,
maybe in a year or so, 2 years, brought back in at some point, because he's got that experience and he's got those relationships with leaders around the world. I mean, he would make a really good foreign secretary, I think.
Yeah, that is the only job you could give him. And yes, and I will say, just in favour of that, even though I personally wouldn't, even though I will say in its favour. Andy Burnham he's talked a lot about policy in the last few weeks. He has not talked about foreign affairs. He's not interested in foreign affairs, which means he needs a big hitter who can just take care of it.
Yeah.
And Keir Starmer would fit the bill. The question becomes, how would it look if he's going to bring in this change, if Keir Starmer's still one of the most senior members of the government, and people will say, oh, you're still pulling the strings. It's a stitch up.
But I mean, you wouldn't say that for a foreign minister. That's what Boris Johnson was doing, wasn't it? When he was running around insulting every country in the world in alphabetical order.
It's one of those things. For me, if that wasn't an issue, and you could come to some amicable agreement, and Starmer was prepared to do that, that would be fine.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
If it would be a good idea politically.
Yeah. Yeah. Urban legends are saying McSweeney would just scheme to get him back as PM. No, look,
if he was any good at scheming, we won't be in this mess.
He's absolutely done for. He's a dead prime minister walking. He is. That's the thumbnail. This is not about stability. This is if he stays on, if he clings on, this is about denial. And then we've got that really ugly process of having a leadership contest.
Yeah,
and it'll be humiliating for him.
It will be a very bad way to go out.
Oh.
And it'll be, it won't do anyone any good.
Yeah.
Apart from Kemi Badnoch, she'll love it.
So what would you say was the main sort of things that Starmer offers that Burnham offers that Starmer doesn't? Is this ideological? Is it regional?
No, it's got nothing to do with that. Starmer has, some of Starmer's policies, some of the ones we disagree with quite strongly, Starmer himself disagrees with quite strongly. He's pragmatic. He's just got some strategy wrong. And Burnham had better be pragmatic. I need him to be pragmatic. What he brings, he's a more natural communicator. And one of the big problems with Starmer, it's not that he didn't understand, but he didn't appreciate the fact that politicians run the currency of popularity. So he was too willing to sacrifice popularity. He was too willing to be unconcerned when they started going down the polls. When they ended up in like third place, then he was like, oh shit. But it took that long. Whereas Andy Burnham understands the need for popularity. He's a more natural politician. He does think politically. Yeah. That doesn't mean to say he won't mess it up, but he at least knows you have to play the political game, and he knows how to play the political game, which is completely absent from Starmer's toolkit. It wouldn't have mattered so much if he'd at least got some advisors in who understood that, but he didn't. He got ones who were as thick as he is on that front.
Do you think that Burnham can bring the bits of Labour that have been sort of drifting off recently, the trade union wing, the Northern MPs, the soft left? Do you think he's going to be able to bring them
He'll
back?
have his battles. There'll be battles. At the end of the day, one of the big gripes of the union is now that, the workers' rights, like huge. It's like, hey, we've got our next complaint now. And the next complaint is they don't like our transition to renewables and green technology, the things that's powering the jobs of the next generation.
Yeah. 1.2 million jobs, apparently.
It's not apparently about. We know that countries that have done this already, that are further ahead than we are generating lots of good quality jobs. We know those jobs pay more. They're better jobs. You don't have to sit on top of a wind turbine in the North Sea like you do an oil rig in the North Sea.
Yes.
Shit life, where you might die if you slip on a bit of soap. And, but it is what it is. That is, so there will be those battles, because he would be stupid to move away from that.
Yeah.
And that will create a different battle. So there will be battles. At the end of the day, Starmer's problem, actually, another problem he had here, with the multitude of problems, if we're going through all of them, was that he did try to be all things to all people. It don't work. Yeah. You've got to pick your battles, but you do have to accept that you are going to have battles.
Okay, so on that front, what do you think his biggest weaknesses are going to be? Burnham's,
that he doesn't have he says he's got a plan. He hasn't got a plan. He has a sketch of an agenda. I believe that because he's talked about it. I get that. He can't have a plan.
Does he have concepts of plans?
Yeah. He can't have he can't have an actual plan, because, put it this way, it took years under Starmer for them to develop their plan, and then their plan still wasn't a final plan, because you need to give it to civil servants, who are the ones who go, this ain't going to work, mate. You're trying to ram a square peg into a round hole here. So then you need, civil servants to work on the actual plan that can work, right? Which is the whole bloody point of a point in Sue Gray. So he doesn't have that. He can't have a plan. So what he's going to have to do, this is why I think he's talked positively about Shabana Mahmood and her immigration policy. It's because he's just decided, I'm not going to mess about with that. Just let that carry on, let that carry on, let that. He's going to, as far as I can tell from what he's been saying, every time he said something, I've jotted it down. I've been quite anal about it. And the three things that jump out for me that he sounds like he personally wants to take charge of. So there's realistically water. They've talked about water and energy, his allies, but the energy is already doing its own thing. So water, realistically, right? He wants to get involved in that. Social care is a big one he's talked about.
Yeah.
And he's also talked about some really quite interesting tax policy changes.
Yeah.
So I would, and that's more than enough for any prime minister to be putting the shoulder behind. So what he really needs to do with everything else is just let it carry on as it's been carrying on. You haven't got time to piss about with everything.
I was thinking about this. Like, he's going to be able to take a lot of credit for the stuff that Starmer did,
and he should do.
That we haven't seen the benefit of fully yet, but we will in the next couple of years. And then Burnham's going to get all the credit for it.
Doesn't matter. Like, and I have to say this: you have to. It's a team game. Party politics is a team game.
Yeah.
You must do that.
Yeah.
You know, you can have someone in football who dodges 6 opposing player and then just dinks it to someone with an open, and you beat the goalie, dinks it to someone with an open goal. They get the goal by their name. You did all the work. It's how it works. It's how you win as a team.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why what's his name? Paul what's it? Gary Lineker called his company goal hanger because that's what he got called, because he just hung around the goal.
Well, that's what you do, is it? You've got to be incredibly predatory as a striker.
Yeah.
You are literally, everyone else does the work. You just finish it off.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's interesting, isn't it, when you look at the football sort of angle, one person does not make a team. You could have the greatest striker in the world, but the rest of the team are shy. And they're not winning anything.
And this is why I'd also caution when people say, oh, Andy Burnham will be much better communicator. It's like, no, he personally is a more natural communicator when he's talking, but the communications operation for Labour is more than one person. It's a huge thing. And he has to get the leadership of that right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the comms will still be shite.
Yeah.
We'll be here in a year's time going,
Jesus, bloody Labour comms, Phil. Labour comms. Oh, my God.
Like we've been doing for years. I found, when I was watching, just for some random reason, I was looking back at my old live streams, and I was like, one of my first live streams in 2022, 4 years ago, over 4 years ago, moaning about Labour comms. It's been going on for years.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? But just to go back to what we were saying about, this is something that Burnham managed to do. If it had been any other candidate for Labour, they probably would have lost, right?
They would have.
However, look at Gorton and Denton, right? And this is what gives me sort of a bit of a spring in my step. The Greens won that. The Greens won a constituency that they had never historically won before, in an area that they were never really, a big challenge in that constituency ever before. But people who naturally voted Labour, people who naturally voted for the Lib Dems, moved to the Green candidate because they went, right, that's the candidate who we think can beat Refuck. When we have the general election in 2029, I think you're going to see that replicated all over the country.
So again, what I'm going to point out is what people voted for in Gorton and Denton was the same thing they voted for in Makerfield. They voted for change. Now, as the government, you don't want them voting for change. It happens to align for Labour here because Burnham, like, it was quite funny, right? So, because I was watching a bit of the feed, like John Curtis was talking about how, when a by-election has a good turnout, and it had a very good turnout, that helps the insurgency party. So Danny Kruger was getting, he was getting a bit of a stiffy on, going, oh yeah, we're the insurgency party, we're going to benefit. And I was like, mate, you're forgetting the fact that on this occasion, Burnham was the insurgency.
Yeah.
Because he was the one who was actually going to, like, if Robert Kenyon won, what happens to the government? Well, it'd be between Rayner and Streeton, realistically, but nothing. Andy Burnham wins, you change the government. So he was the insurgency candidate.
Yeah.
And that's not what you... So at the general election, whatever happened in Makerfield is not in Labour's favour in the general election. They want people to vote for, this is working. They want them to vote for continuity, not change.
Yeah.
So Burnham wanted people to vote for change now, but at the next election, he wants them to vote for continuity. which is a whole different strategy.
Yeah. Just go off topic a little bit. Chris C has just put breaking news: arsonists who targeted Starmer's property has been handed a 7-year custodial sentence. They were talking about that on LBC this morning on James O'Brien's show. Someone called in and said, "Why didn't they make so much of that? Imagine that had been Farage's home that was firebombed. He would be all over the news. It would be front page news on all the newspapers every single day." And Starmer could have used that as a launch pad to go after anti-British Russian actors in the UK, bad actors who are working against Britain's interests. And that brings in Christopher Holborn, that brings in Elon Musk.
To me, the reason he didn't is, again, it's part of the part of him that's still got that sort of decency about him, that he doesn't bring in his own personal stuff like that, which is a bit of a failing, because you're right, he should have done
personal stuff. He's the Prime Minister, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know, but
foreign state tried to kill him.
I think he'd worry that he's making a fuss because it's his shit that got... Well, it wasn't actually. The car used to be his. The reason, in fact, that was the interesting thing. The reason that car got bombed, it wasn't his car, but it used to be. Do you remember a few years ago when he knocked over a cyclist?
Mm.
So they got it from the news thing there, because it was his car and it wasn't anymore. So the Russian handler weren't all that clued up on the old intelligence, but they were linked with Starmer. So he wasn't living at the house, although he still did own it, and it wasn't his car anymore. But yeah, I agree. He should have done, and they should have used it to warn of the dangers that Russia poses.
Yeah.
But I just think he worries that it makes it look like he's selfish. Yeah. Because it's affected him, not someone else.
Yeah. Urbane Legends says Starmer's never seen an opportunity he hasn't passed up politically.
Well, unfortunately, no.
What's that going past? Keir, it's an opportunity. Quick, run for the opportunity, Keir. That's all right. There'll be another one along, and I can ignore that one as well. So we need to talk about the mayoral campaign starts today. So there's going to be a mayoral election.
Yeah,
in Manchester, Greater Manchester. I think it's going to be on the 30th of July. It's the end of July. How much of a threat is this to Labour? Could they lose this? And
they could lose it. So this is why Farage today was doing something really quite remarkable. He did a video where he was appealing to Restore Britain voters to vote for Reform UK in the future, and he's clearly got that mayoral election in mind. Although it's a bit mental, because this is the way I'm going to characterise it, right?
Nigel Farage, a bit mental. What?
Nigel Farage is asking political extremists to vote for him when he's not willing to give them 100% of exactly what they demand to the nth degree.
Yeah.
How does that usually go?
Well, exactly.
We know, we're on the left, we know how that goes, don't we? But that's what he's doing. And that he's doing it because he knows that the next big thing is that mayoral election, and he knows that Restore Britain might scupper him. I mean, they might not, but they might scupper him. This is another reason why it'd be much better if Andy Burnham was Prime Minister by then, because he is popular in Manchester. He will personally campaign there anyway, but there can be more of a feel-good factor going on. Labour will stand a much better chance if Andy Burnham is already installed as Prime Minister at that point.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Who should Labour pick?
Well, interestingly, ahead of the Gorton-Denton by-election, before Burnham had been officially, knocked on the head, he did say, when they were talking about the mayoral thing, he did say, we've got a really good candidate. So whoever he's got in mind, all I know is a woman, because the word she was used.
Okay.
But I don't know who it is. But right. He is
it's not Gary Neville, then?
No. It wouldn't be a bad choice, admittedly, if he's up for it. Get someone famous in, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that worked for Reform UK in Hull. They had a local sporting hero who won. He's confident they've got a good candidate, but I would still say it's a big old threat. Because like Manchester itself, sure, will back Labour, but the Greens will fight for that one. They'll not step aside. So the Greens will fight for that one. And in Manchester, that could split a lot of the votes there. And then you've got a lot of the sort of rurally type areas around the place that aren't strictly Labour, you know, it's
Cheshire.
it's a big threat. Yeah, it's a big threat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because if
You'd
it
have to
goes,
take it. You have to sort of accept if that's the cost, that's the cost. But um, Labour are more likely to win if Andy Burnham is in charge by then, because he can then more formally state his agenda.
yeah, yeah. So
And
one of the things
give a
that's
bit, like, they'll get the benefit of the doubt, basically.
one of the things that Starmer said this morning when he's been interviewed about this, about whether he was going to step down, whether he was going to, you know, fight against the leadership challenge, he started talking about the Manchester, the mayoral, the Greater Manchester Metro Mayor election that's coming up, and saying that we've got to put all of our, me and Andy and everyone else has got to put all of our efforts into that. So, could you see a scenario where the deal is with Starmer? Get us over the line at this election and then step down, or do you think
Labour are more likely to lose if he hasn't stepped down by that?
Better off if he's gone.
Put it this way: if Andy Burnham's in charge, first of all, then it becomes certain. Like, we can both say, oh, he's definitely going to take over Labour. Most of the public don't necessarily know that. But secondly, as soon as he's prime minister, he can announce his agenda, and he can announce it in such a way that it sounds particularly appealing to the sort of people who are thinking about who to vote for mayor in Manchester, because he can talk about some of the things that will be within the gift of Metro mayors to do, and how Reform UK won't want to do this, but it'd be really great, guys. You know, he can tailor that agenda effectively in the short term to that mayoral election. Yeah. Starmer in charge makes it harder for Labour to win, and the Greens will attack it hard. There's no reason for them not to.
Here's the thing, Phil, right? If Labour don't win this, then that's going to be a sour note for Burnham to start his
definitely
premiership.
Yeah, it is. So, all things considered, Starmer should step down. Do a deal. You know, if there's some important legislation, do a deal to get a guarantee on it. Step down. Step down by the end of this month.
Chris is saying if we win the Manchester mayoral, you can kiss goodbye to the Beeline buses, which are produced in Northern Ireland and Scotland. They're zero emission.
Yeah,
they want to move away from that. They want to buy stuff from other countries, from their funders in other countries. They want to buy oil from their funders in other countries. I mean, just imagine a Britain where we are making 200% of the energy we need through renewables, and we're selling it. We're selling it all over Europe. It's going out through the interconnectors we've got with France, with Belgium, with the Netherlands, with Germany. That we could put some into Denmark, up to Norway. We could be supplying countries further down the line with energy, and they don't want it. They're like, no. We've got 40% of the wind power in the whole of Europe. Imagine if it was like oil, and we had 40% of the oil of that was available.
Well, if it was the wind, wind turbine lobby, they'd hate the oil.
Yeah, true. But there isn't a wind turbine lobby, unfortunately.
No, this is the problem. There isn't.
Yeah,
they're trying to start
Greenpeace,
but, you know,
I guess. But
their YouTube channel shite.
So let's talk about sort of the policy and direction. And you mentioned it before about about Burnham having concepts.
Concept of plan. And I'm not talking about a year ago when he could talk any old shite. Yeah. In the last few weeks, when he knows he's sort of probably going to become prime minister, he has explained. There's not been any promises, but he has talked about very clear policies.
Yeah.
There have been multiple. So on the tax front, if you want to go down them.
Social housing. I'll go on then.
So on the tax front, we might as well start with that, because that'll be a big one for people. So he wants these are not promises, by the way, but he wants to look at increasing the personal allowance. Although I would argue that one isn't actually all it's cracked up to be, because a lot of the people on the breadline will find that they get no extra money, because what you gain in the personal allowance, you lose in universal credit, like tax credits. Yeah. So it has been pointed out that's not actually a good one to help the worst off. But nonetheless, that's what he's talked about. He's talked about reducing business rates for pubs, because that's been a bit of a thorny one. I mean, did you notice, by the way, when he'd done his speech and everything, he left? Do you know what he said?
No, I didn't miss.
He said, "I'm off for a pint," which is
Yes.
bullshit, by the way. Pubs ain't open, but it was too early. But nonetheless, it shows what he's
Liverpool,
thinking
our
about.
pubs never close.
Is intending to occupy that platform that Farage occupies, not on immigration, although we are sort of still doing that.
Yeah.
But on, I actually drink beer, not
Hang
not
on,
30
no, he
quid
did
a
it at
glass
11
wine.
o'clock. It was 11 o'clock. The pub was
Yeah,
open.
but he left hours before then.
No.
I mean, I could say I'm going out for a pint and have one in 6 months' time.
Sorry, last night or this morning?
This morning.
This morning, yeah, that
This
was
morning.
that was at 11 o'clock. We covered it on the show.
But he left hours before then. He said he was off for a pint at like 5 o'clock in the morning or something. Anyway.
Yeah, he could have been going to Jacaranda in Liverpool. That's
well, yeah, he could have been going somewhere 5 hours walk away. Sure, why not? But the point is, the reason he said it was to get, it's that impression, isn't it? I'm of the people.
Yeah,
he understands the
Someone
need
you'd want to go for
to give that impression. Exactly, right? I mean, he could have just said, "I'm just going to go and chill for a bit," right?
Yeah.
But he specifically made a point of doing that.
There was a Vox Pop, Phil. There was a Vox Pop where early on in the campaign where they were interviewing people in Makerfield, and there was a guy who said, "I want to take him for a pint." Like, just a young lad on the street. I'll have to take him for a pint.
But that's what you need.
Yeah, great, fucking awesome. But go on. Anyway.
He needs to carry on being.
Anyway, we're talking about
tax,
so
tax. So reduce business rates for pubs. He's also talked about raising the threshold for small businesses. I mean, Reeves did already do a bit of that, but more if he can do it.
The tax threshold is that?
Yeah, it's a bit like the personal allowance, but for small businesses. So raising the threshold at which you have to pay things like national insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
He's talked about reforming council tax. He's talked about, in terms of how you pay for all this, he's talked about more of a levy on big warehouses like Amazon. He's talked about one thing that I really approve of, and I've talked about this for years. He's talked about taxing empty high street properties.
Yeah.
Because that's a direct, like anything, like we do tax a lot of economic activity, which is always unfortunate. You ideally wouldn't, but you can't just not tax income, and you can't just not tax, sales and stuff like that. Well, you can't be where you're going to get taxes from. But where you can tax unproductivity, you should.
Yes.
The first priority should be taxing shit and an empty property on a high street is an economic black hole because like if that property has a business in it, people go to it, they might go to other businesses as well. You increase your footfall. So whereas if you've got empty, but it looks shit as well and people get depressed about it. So I'm a huge fan of that. You should definitely do that. And you
houses,
can do that.
Houses as well, Phil. I think if you don't use your house, if you got a load of properties and they're all falling into
that'd be a good one. Nigel Farage wrote like that.
They're bringing down the house prices of the other houses in the area. The broken window syndrome. And that should be, for a long time, if you trashed your own place so it was uninhabitable, you only had to pay half council tax on it. Stupid rule. What a stupid bloody rule. So we had a bunch of landlords from the down south coming up to Liverpool in the 1990s, buying entire streets of terraced houses and just leaving them to them to rot and hoping that Liverpool Football Club would buy them off them or something. Yeah. Blue Badger says, I've always had emergency celebration pint at the back of my fridge. The last one was used last year in the new year. Lol. Yeah, an emergency celebration pint, Phil. Or like Eddie in Bottom, where he just pulls an entire pint out of his jacket on the Ferris wheel.
Pocket, yeah.
I love that. So you've got the taxing bringing up the personal allowance for income tax.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good one, but
business rates, allowance for pubs, threshold being raised for small businesses. Council tax, I really agree with council tax. It's the most regressive tax there is. It is ridiculous that a single parent in Durham here is paying more than they're paying on Buckingham freaking Palace.
Indeed.
Levy on big warehouses, and going after big companies that don't pay any tax. Starbucks again last year paid no tax in this country.
Yeah.
They made 800 million profit, and funnily enough, it cost the company 800 million to be allowed to use the little Starbucks logo on all the cups. It was the exact amount, Phil. You wouldn't believe it.
This is incredible. Isn't
Goes up and down each year.
And then in terms of the big one, because all that would actually be a big job for a chancellor, but the big one would be the social care levy. He wants to accelerate the social care plans and introduce a social care levy.
So how would that work?
That is something you can definitely. I don't know what the detail of that is. I don't know the detail of any of them because he's just mused on me. He hasn't promised anything, right? He hasn't written it down in anything. But this is just what he's talked about. That you can arse up. So yeah. But so those on tax issues, those are the ones he's talked about recently enough for him to be serious about it because it's since the by-election.
Yeah.
Other policies that we know of, public control, he's a bit coy on ownership, but public control of water and energy. We're already moving on energy. Water, I mean, you would think Thames Water's on its arse. So you would think if he does become Prime Minister quite soon, I mean, it might happen anyway, that Thames Water would end up in public hands. We may, I prefer mutualisation rather than nationalisation in the current economic situation.
Is that because of all the debt?
Yeah, not because of all the debt, but because of the investment that's required. There's 100. If you were to get all the water companies, that's 100 billion quid's worth of new reservoirs and other investment needed. Where you're going to get 100 billion quid from, you're not. Whereas if you mutualise it,
could we join the EU? Would have it in the EU?
Yeah, but we can't do that overnight. But if you mutualise it, they can borrow at commercial rates. Yes, okay, you're paying a bank effectively interest and stuff, but there's not shareholders, right? You're getting rid of their profits out of it, which also means the CEOs will be paid their bonuses based on service. The only financial bonuses will be coming under budget. Like, don't fucking piss everything away like Homer when he became sanitation guy, but keep to budget, but beyond that, all your focus is on service, right?
What has he said anything about capital gains, putting that up? It's at 25%. I think Nigel Farage wants to bring it down to 20%.
I mean, I haven't heard every word he said. He may have done. I am a supporter of that. As someone who actually in the future will pay capital gains, but I'm 100% a supporter of that. He may have, I've only noted down what I've heard him say. So he may have said other things that I haven't heard, but I didn't note that one down. But I don't know. That's not me saying he hasn't said it. I'm not his shadow. Yeah. Then what else has he talked about?
EU.
He hasn't really said much about that.
Voter reform. Voting.
Oh yeah. He has talked about that. He definitely, he says electoral reform. So again, this is why I think there's a good chance that he will at some point get a royal commission going or something like that, some sort of commission going. To look at different forms, consult with the public and work out, come up with conclusions, and then he can put those in the manifesto. Yeah. So he has talked about that in the last few weeks. He hasn't really talked about the EU. So that may be another one where he just sort of leaves it as it is and gets someone in charge who we can trust. Yeah. I mean, leave Nick Thomas Simmons in charge. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. But I mean, I'm doing a video on this later today, and I do say that unlike the immigration, he can sort of leave the immigration stuff alone a bit, but I probably should do, at least in terms of not doing bloody, stop doing press conferences where you basically say everything's shit, but we've got a new plan to make it a bit less shit. Stop doing that.
Yeah, but Burnham hasn't done that, has he?
No, he hasn't done that. So hopefully he won't do that. Hopefully he'll have more intelligent press conferences.
Shit. It's like Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Just stand there. I want you to know I'm feeling very depressed. Cool. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's what every single one of Starmer's press conferences has been like. Apart, he did one recently, didn't he, where it was a bit better, but it's too late.
Yeah, too little, too late. I'll talk about that. Hey, listen, we got a super chat in. Yay! First super chat of the afternoon from Ant Gibb. Thank you very much. Starmer versus Burnham. Game, set, and matched. Andy Murray. Surely. Yeah, I mean,
I think he's an SNP supporter.
A straight head-to-head battle between Burnham and Starmer at this point. Starmer doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah. And that's what should be communicated to him. It doesn't matter whether he thinks
he's an idiot. He's not true.
He's not an idiot, but he is a political idiot. So I won't put anything past him. But I am hopeful that he can be persuaded. Everyone's an idiot at something. Everyone's got their idiocies. We're all stupid at something. I mean, when I say stupid, I mean ignorant. So obviously, if you lack, like, in order to make wise decisions, you have to have a certain level of knowledge, don't you? If you lack the knowledge, it doesn't matter how clever you are, you can still be unwise in that area.
Is it wise? Gareth T. Thank you very much, Gareth T, my friend. That's very kind of you. £5 super chat. Just been to
Cheeky
Phil's
secret.
neck of the woods, now heading back to God's own country, Lancashire.
I think you will find that Yorkshire is God's county.
Lancashire
It says
roses.
so. It says
Red
so
roses.
everywhere. And we
there's no white rose emoji. Sorry, Phil.
What are you on about?
There's no white rose emoji.
Roses. They were all wearing white roses in Parliament.
I know, but
Wednesday.
there's no emoji. If you do a rose emoji, it is red. It's the rose of Lancashire. No, Yorkshire don't get one, mate. Sorry.
That's because
don't get an emoji.
That's because we're special.
You see, this is the thing. Like, if you've got a new political party, they've got to be able to have an emoji. That's why.
Do you know why it is?
Got the arrow.
Do you know why it is? I've just worked it out. Do you know why it is? It's because Lancashire are in the pay of big tech.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's the reason why.
Whereas Yorkshire stood firm. So they didn't give us our rose, but we've got our own rose. We don't need anyone else giving us a digital rose. We've got real ones.
Chris C says, I would let the likes of Thames Water go bankrupt and buy all the assets, etc.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what will happen.
The auctions and nationalise it that way.
No, you just take it into administration. Like, if a public utility, you don't sell it off. If a public utility goes to the wall, the government automatically just takes it over for nothing.
Yeah.
You just have to let it go to the wall. But the problem becomes the investment. The problem becomes this, actually. Because there's already investors, right? If those investors think this is what's going to happen, they'll pull out. The investment stops completely. But it takes a while for the government to go to the wall. So you don't get that investment happening, which means there's a risk that it's not in place for the next election. That's the trickiness to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I worry is the tricksiness to it. The investors will just, as you would. I mean, I'll be honest, if I had investments that I was managing myself and I thought the company was going to go bust, I'm not going to keep them there. I'll pull them out as soon as I think it's going to go bust.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with trying to force the issue. If it looks like the government are trying to force the issue.
Okay.
So you'd really rather they just naturally went bust and you took them over.
Okay. So something that he mentioned this morning, immigration.
Yeah. I don't think he's planning on spending much time on it.
Oh, really?
Well, you can only spend think about your priorities. You can only have so many priorities. You've got to set your agenda for your whole cabinet, but you can only personally oversee a few things. We know he wants to oversee water. We know he wants to oversee social care. We know he's got a few tax issues in mind, so that's going to take up his time. But from what I've heard of him anyway, I mean, you tell me what he said then, because I may have missed it.
No, he just mentioned it. He mentioned it this morning, where because he knows that people are concerned about immigration. He just won in a constituency that's like 97% white. So I mean, it wasn't the most ethnically diverse area that he was representing.
I don't think he's going to do very much different. He might tell him to take the edge off the rhetoric if we're lucky.
Yeah,
I don't see him doing much difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone's just say there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Yes, there is, but to have wisdom, you need knowledge first. You can't make good decisions without information.
That's very true. And Trump makes terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Black Dot Dot is asking about trans rights with Andy Burnham.
Yeah.
He has been positive about trans rights. He's been positive about gay rights.
Keir Starmer.
As mayor of Manchester. Do you think that he's going to have the balls to just come into this and say, listen, can all these TERFs fuck off? Or is he going to just go down the same route as Starmer?
But it's one of the three big knotty decisions you're going to have to make on policy. There are, I think, probably about 3 policy areas where he can go one way or the other. It doesn't interfere with the manifesto. One of them is trans rights. The other one is jury trials.
Oh, yeah.
That is a really knotty one. The other one is protests. Like, where do you stand on like Palestine action type thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are 3 ones where there will be people waiting with bated breath for him to pronounce his direction.
The jury trials, someone suggested, I think they sort of suggested it in the Commons during the debate, they suggested having a sundown clause on it. So it was just, they were going to suspend jury trials for particular crimes for 3 years to get rid of the backlog, and then they were going to come back, which I thought was a sensible option. As for, because he's going to come in just as this trans guidance coming through from the Equalities and Human Rights Commission, which, Phil, there's venues all over the country, and instead of building a new toilet, because that costs £30,000, they are just taking the signs off the toilets. and saying
as you would
cubicles, and then the other one says cubicles and urinals.
Yeah, as you would. I would do that.
Everyone's
I would
doing
do that anyway, probably. But in all honesty, like, I mean, the best place I saw for it actually was Google headquarters in London, where they just have toilets. You go into them, it's just toilets. It's like women's toilets. There's no urinals. You don't need urinals. And the doors for people who go over, look under, there's no looking underneath. The doors go from floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
And
but arguably they're more dangerous.
There's a thing.
They're more dangerous because you could lock yourself in with your victim.
Well, either way, that's what they do. But nonetheless, because you then have this problem about, because people watch too much Family Guy and Glenn Quagmire's antics. Because people think that's real. It's a bit like the Dictator, isn't it? Where he's watching a Daffy Duck cartoon.
Grim Fandango says Burnham doesn't plan to change the guidance, but wants to make it as trans inclusive within the framework. Hopefully he changes it or gets pushed back as he forces a better version. Do you know who I think is going to force this guidance out? I think it's going to be the freaking TERFs. They're going to lose their freaking minds, Phil. Because they're the people who are like, oh, we don't want men anywhere near us when we're having a piss. There's going to be men in the fucking toilets now. There's going to be a man having a piss in the toilet next to you, and he's probably going to piss on the fucking seat.
Yeah. Although didn't you say that women are worse? Didn't you say women are worse?
No, not for pissing on the seat. Women are worse for just making a lot of mess.
Obviously, women don't piss on the seat.
Yeah, making a lot of mess.
Yeah,
like with tissue paper and other artifacts that should go in. Maybe you'll get
but don't. Roving gangs of pissed up women thinking, "Oh, we'll try out the urinals. Let's have a go at these."
I think that happens at music festivals. And he says the problem is that he won't want to be seen as going against the Supreme Court, so trans rights offers a problem.
He doesn't have to.
But he might be braver than Starmer because of Starmer being a barrister.
The Supreme Court, like when they say courts don't decide laws, they just tell you what they mean. Yeah. Change the bastard law.
Change the law. Change
all you have to do. Law. It's not even a big thing. You just have to, in the thing, define where woman means purely cis woman and where it means cis or trans woman, and same for men, but it's mostly women that are mentioned in the Equality Act. So that's all you have to do.
Yeah,
you just have to redefine what woman, or clearly define, should we say, what
should only take a statutory instrument, because all you're doing is an amending an already existing act of Parliament. This does not take a long time. This does not take a years-long process to get
I mean, there would then be another legal process, because someone would try and just hope that they'd cocked it up somehow.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's all you do. You're not going against the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court just said what the interpretation of the law needs to be, right? So it's just, okay, fine. That wasn't our understanding, so we'll just more clearly define things in the Act.
Yeah. Easy. Okay, talking of thorny issues, Israel. What can he do? What can he do?
See, that is a thorny one, because again, he's already had people moan about him, because whenever there was some more polling recently, a lot of it's mostly Muslim voters. I don't want to pick on those, but it is. And they're saying, they would still vote Labour again, but, they want them to apply sanctions to Israel and stuff like that. It's like, they already do.
We have sanctions on Israel.
Yeah, of course we have sanctions on Israel from the start. Like, we blocked all those licenses for anything that was considered at risk of being used by the IDF in Gaza. Labour did that technically before legally they were even allowed to do it. They did it as an interim thing first, because you have to have the legal guidance. Otherwise, the companies that are affected can take you to court, because the government's not allowed to just randomly cancel trade.
Right.
You're supposed to, you can do it, and you're supposed to do it if you believe that there's a risk of it being used illegally, which obviously there was. They did that straight away, but a lot of people, so this is the maddening thing about it. It's a perception thing. People don't realise that Labour did this straight away. And the problem, I suppose, for Burnham will be, if he makes a big deal of it, then it risks, because the problem obviously is you've got people, like most normal people, are concerned with the way Israel's behaving, not now just in Palestine, although they haven't stopped that, in Lebanon and others as well. They're just like, they're literally going on an imperialistic bender. Yeah. And So there are people that are concerned about it. It's got nothing to do with Israel being a Jewish state, right? It's just a human issue. But there are people who have the issue with them being Jewish. Yeah. And when other countries behave in the same way, they haven't got anything to say about it. And sometimes they even support it. And the problem becomes, how do you make a big show of the fact that you're going to do everything you realistically can to make sure that we're opposing what Israel are doing in terms of human rights abuses, war crimes, and so on, without making it look like you're feeding the anti-Semitism beast?
Yeah,
it's an absolute shit show. Do you know what? It's quite funny. Oh, it's not funny, it's tragic. But I had someone on my channel put a comment in saying, I think you should do a video on how Zionism is debated in the UK. And I just replied to them. I said, Google screaming frogs, watch the video. That's pretty much how that debate goes in this country.
I try not to say the Z word on this channel, as you know. And Grimfang 999 says, Israel is completely out of control. Took a while, but even Trump has realised this and is sick of it. Hey, listen,
even he can't control them. Yeah, exactly.
But the elections are coming up in Israel.
Yeah.
And Netanyahu is looking increasingly panicky. I think it's September. I think they're coming up in September.
They are coming up, yeah.
If the way things are going with this fucking deal, which is shite for everyone who isn't Iran, in this,
it is Iran's. It's literally Iran's deal. It is literally Iran's deal. There was
300 billion reconstruction.
Someone who worked.
He signed it in Versailles, Phil. He signed it in Versailles. Yeah. He signed 300 billion in reparations. Phil.
But
reparations.
It wasn't quite the same.
Do you not see the mathematical?
Yeah. He didn't. I guarantee Trump didn't.
No, he signed the document.
I know he did, but I guarantee he didn't get the historical context.
No, of course not.
But like, there was someone who worked in Reagan's State Department who was looking at it and said, look, this deal is based on Iran's proposal. That is, I mean, he basically was saying that is a surrender right there.
Yeah.
It wasn't. And Trump asked for that, remember. This wasn't Iran saying, we demand that we base the deal on this. Trump told them to come up with the proposals. He told them to.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit like, he might as well have told them, make me a white flag so I can wave it. Because, just for those who don't know, by the way, what the deal entails, it entails all sanctions being dropped, every single one.
Yeah.
Even the UN sanctions, right? The ones that have been agreed all legally, as well as unfreezing all assets.
Yeah.
Basically, the UK will be under more US sanctions after this than Iran.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll bet you something. I'm going to predict something. At some point, Trump is going to start shilling for Iran, and he'll start trying to persuade us to drop our sanctions. I say ours as in Europe, it's Europe's and the UK's sanctions against Iran. When Iran are actually attacking us, and Ukraine, well, they're helping Russia attack Ukraine, supplying them.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Farsight says unconditional surrender, pretty much.
They're going to keep, no,
but they're going to start taking tolls for the Strait of Hormuz, which they never took before.
I actually don't think that is going to be the case. I think they're happy with zero sanctions. So I think the passage is actually going to be all right.
Yeah.
But in return, they get completely free trade with whoever they want.
But to bring it back to Burnham in the UK, we were talking about his possible, his possible policies that he's going to go forward with. Does the Labour manifesto give him a lot of leeway in what he can do?
In terms of what he's talked about, yes. All of the things he's talked about doing do not impinge on the manifesto at all. Some of it actually advances it.
Okay, so two things that we haven't mentioned. Reindustrialisation of three things. Reindustrialisation of the North, he's talked about that. Council housing, building new council houses. And you were saying that's probably a bad idea because in 5 years' time, they just get sold to a bunch of Tories.
Okay,
and HS2 from Birmingham to Manchester.
Yeah.
Being completed because they spent all the money prepping the ground and buying all this property. And it's like, so you're not going to do it now, what?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
So in terms of the housing one, so okay, one housing one I didn't mention was, so there's 39 billion pounds that's already been allocated for social and affordable housing, and Burnham is proposing taking it away and spending it entirely on social housing. It's like, okay, well, we need more social housing, but I think we also need more people to own their own homes. If you own their own homes, no future government can do anything about it. Well, they can, but that would be a Zimbabwe option that probably wouldn't work out well. So in terms of the HS, the rail thing, I'll leave that in your capable hands, because all I know is that for me to go to London tomorrow for the Rejoin March, I have to drive 45 minutes to get to the train station. So we don't really have a great train. Wouldn't it be better to expand the train network?
Well,
I don't know. I'm not an expert on trains.
Well, my take on this is there used to be a central main line that went from Manchester to Sheffield through the Woodhead tunnels under the Pennines and then down to London. It was built in the 1890s. It was built as a high-speed rail line for the 1890s, and it had no level crossings. It was all graded. It was all above the level of the land or below, whatever, put in an embankment. They shut that down in the 1960s, and so you lost your option. So now, if you're coming down from Manchester or Liverpool or any other, anywhere in the northwest, you've got to go down the West Coast Main Line. And the point of that are just an absolute bottleneck. You have got regional trains on there. You've got intercity trains on there. You've got freight trains on there, and they're all running on the same lines. It's madness, and they can't upgrade it, Phil, because they can't shut it down for. It's like the House of Parliament needs to be redone, and they need to get the parliamentarians out the bloody thing so they can do it quickly and
build
cheaply.
a new one in Doncaster.
all right.
These are not difficult problems to solve.
We don't have the capacity. We don't have the option of going, okay, well, I'll just get the train to Manchester and then to Sheffield, then down to London that way. That option's not there. You could shut down the West Coast Main Line. You could shut down the East Coast Main Line for years to upgrade it to it's much better. But at the moment, they close it down on holidays, Sundays, and they've got to get it all back in working order for a train to travel over it at 125 miles an hour on the Monday morning. It's bonkers.
Even that, you still need to travel down these lines at weekends and stuff.
Yeah, it's so dangerous the way that we do it. It's ridiculous. We need to be able to shut down the East Coast Main Line for years and fix it. And then we need to be able to shut down the West. And the only way we'll do that is we've got an option, and HS2 will give us that option.
Yeah, okay.
That's why they should never have focused on the fact that it's a high speed line. And building this new line, right? I know they've got the path that they want it to take. If they don't build it as a high speed line, just build it to go 125 miles an hour. That's fast enough. It's fine. You can get from Liverpool to London now in 2 hours and 7 minutes. Just on the trains that exist. That's fine.
That's not bad, because it takes me about an hour and 50 minutes from Doncaster.
I know. It takes me 3 hours to get from here to London or Liverpool. Paulie Donkey, thank you very much for the £2.67. 67. Did you do that on purpose? Thank you very much. Andy, Keir, Burnham, either alone, never walk alone. Well, and Andy Burnham will not just be our first Scouse Prime Minister since Gladstone. He will also be an Evertonian, and it will mean that the great kingdoms of the United Kingdom and Canada are both run by prime ministers who support Everton Football Club. Oh yes, yeah, it's good stuff. The round ball. Have you been watching any of the World Cup, Phil?
No, I don't watch telly these days. I keep a weather eye on the scores. That's about it. But I honestly don't watch television these days.
All right, fair enough. Listen, we're going to have to wrap up soon because we've gone a few minutes over. I know you got stuff to do. Just before we go, right, back onto Burnham. Imagine you are advising Burnham, right? Yeah. Starmer's done what you want him to do. He stepped aside. It's been a coronation, right? What does Burnham have to do in the first week that he becomes Prime Minister to stamp his authority?
So all he has to do to stamp his authority is get the public behind him. And to get the public behind him, he has to give them very specific, you are going to see this by then, by this time. This is, he needs to do this is what you're going to see from me in the first year. And this is how you're going to see it affecting your life. This is what you're going to see from me in the second year. And this is how you're going to see it affecting your life. And this is what you're going to see from me in the third year, and so on. Yeah. So he needs to, it's that it's that contract. He needs to set out a contract, not just call it a contract, but actually something that this is what you are going to see.
Yeah.
And this is when you're going to see it. I'm not working towards it. We're going to get this done.
Yeah.
And some of it will be stuff that's already going on. But he will have to decide what is a big thing we can do straight away. And it can even be something as simple as one of those tax policies.
Yeah.
But because you need to get, I would never announce a tax policy without having it cleared by the Treasury first, because Andy Burnham is not an expert economist, and it's easy to think a thing can be done, and actually there's unintended consequences that you might not accept. But announce something. Yeah. Just decide something that you can do, even if it's fairly performative, as an example of it. But the other thing I would advise, the thing I would mostly advise him to do, is to just get out over summer. Go out a couple of days a week, go out to a different town, and just meet people on the high street. Yeah. Just go and talk to them. Don't have the media following around. Some will naturally follow you around like a bad smell anyway. Don't matter. Just go out and talk to people and start to get it, tell the local press. And it'll start capturing the news, because, the Prime Minister's going out and talking to people. Yeah. And take some abuse if needs be, and just go, but just listen. Don't talk to them. Don't argue with them or anything. Just listen to them, and just do that. And then when Parliament's back in session again, still do it every week. Yeah, just each week or every couple of weeks. Just go out there on a Saturday or something. Get down an high street somewhere. Yeah, and just go out and meet people. What is your biggest problem? What do you think I need to concentrate on? I'm just
Liam's saying that Labour's in last chance saloon and they know it. Just sorry, before we go as well, something I forgot I was going to mention earlier. Could Wes Streeting be a spoiler in all this, or do you think he's just going to fold into the Burnham camp?
I don't know what I think a lot of it depends on what Starmer does. If Starmer insists on a leadership contest, Streeting will fight it,
and he'll come third.
He will lose. I mean, the last polling we saw said that even Starmer could beat Streeting.
Yeah.
So he's really lost a lot of his shine. And he is a very shiny person.
Bit too shiny, if you ask me.
But yeah, so no, I see Wes Streeting doing no harm to this process, unless he tries to challenge Burnham, even if Starmer steps down. But I strongly suspect, if you remember, he tried to do that a while ago.
Yeah.
And he didn't get the support for it.
Yeah.
I think the same thing will happen. I think MPs will go, there's no point in inflicting a leadership contest that you will not win.
Yeah.
So his own supporters may go, yeah, but we don't think you can win. Why would we do this? Whereas if Starmer's going to force it anyway, then they'll go, yeah, sure, Wes might as well be in it.
Yeah. If I was to give advice to Burnham for the first week, I would definitely be saying, look, you got to sort out your relationship with the media. You've got to start doing these daily press conferences, or weekly press conferences, whatever it is, Monday morning, like Keir Starmer did
Sod
this
the
week.
Mainstream media. Sod the mainstream media. If they're not going to report on what you talk about, sod them. Literally, tell them, bring them in, and say to them, you get 3 stupid questions and you're out. Literally that. And I don't mean each time. I mean, that's it. There's like a bingo card. Every time they ask a stupid question, make a big deal of it as well.
That's quite subjective, though, Phil. Like, what's a stupid question?
No, he's the Prime Minister who gets to decide whatever he wants to invite. I would say stop being beholden to the mainstream media. And the mainstream media should stop being beholden to politicians as well. Then I would say, just to that, if you're going to ask stupid, bloody questions and you're getting a tick, it's like being a teacher, 3 strikes and you're in isolation, right? And you just do that, honestly. And I think that would play well. They'd bitch about it, but they're going to bitch about you anyway.
Yeah.
The Telegraph or the Express or GB News, for God's sake, they're going to bitch about you anyway. Give them something to bitch about. Hey, they're cancelling us. Don't give a shit, right? 3 stupid questions and you're out. That's it. And then bring in the loads of people around London that would happily go along to that, who do stuff on social media. Just get them in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take a stand. Take a bloody stand. Stop trying to be all diplomatic all the time. Pick your battles, but when it's your enemies, you don't have to be they're not going to give Burnham a fair crack. So why should he give them one?
No, exactly. Couldn't agree more.
That's what I would do. I would literally do that. I'm not even exaggerating. That's not hyperbole. I would literally have a chart with the titles there. And I would say, these are 3 boxes. When you fill up the 3 boxes, you're not coming back for like at least 6 months.
Yeah.
You've got 6-month exile before we'll even think about bringing you back.
Love it.
Back to teacher. Learn from teachers.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, mate. Well, we'll call it an afternoon there. Thank you very much for everyone been watching. Before we go, if you could do us a favour and give us a like if you liked what we did, or even if you didn't, just give us a like anyway. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and hit the bell notification icon. I'll be back at 9:30 tonight with the Friday night social. We're moving Sunday to Friday because of the election and the stuff we need to talk about. We need to talk about the reflecting pool, Phil. We need to make more jokes about the reflecting pool. Yeah. They put hydrogen peroxide in it, Phil. What do you think that's going to do to the paint, Phil?
Well, I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? There's nothing that in what sensible country? I mean, Americans must be embarrassed. In what sensible country do you put in charge someone who literally cocks everything up? I mean, everything he does turns to shit. Not for himself. He makes out like a bandit.
He's making loads
but everything he does turns to shit.
Like a Midas touch, but it's instead of
it's
gold.
Reverse. It's like John Smith said, the reverse Midas touch.
Yeah. Oh, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Anyway, Phil will be live tomorrow. Oh, no, you won't because you're going to the march. Sorry, I need to mention this as well.
I'll be coming back from there, London. So I won't have a live stream tomorrow.
So hit the bell notification icon here because I will be doing a few live streams from the march. So I might, if I run into Phil, I might say hello to Phil on the march. At 12 o'clock, we're meeting at Temple Station, or outside Temple Station in London.
It's too hot. It's going to be too hot, isn't it? The underground's going to be a nightmare.
Very hot. I'm probably going to walk. To Temple. That's my plan. Take me about an hour. I don't care. I'm not going down in that underground. It's going to be like going into hell. With my hat on.
I'm not. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Get a taxi.
I'll just go on the underground. I'll just put up with it. I won't be happy. I'll be grumpy.
Get yourself on a Boris bike, mate. That's what you want. Fucking Boris bike.
Yeah, you do see those around, actually. Yeah. They look all right, but I'm not really a cyclist. I used to be a big, keen cyclist, but these days, I haven't cycled for years.
The cycling I do is recycling. Just put some cardboard in the right bin. Anyway, so yeah. Well, if you'd like to join us for that, please do. Also, I'll be out in Liverpool tomorrow night with A. Thompson. So if you want to join us for that, you are very welcome to. He's taking his patrons out.
A bit, aren't you?
Pardon?
You're moving around a bit tomorrow, aren't you?
I am moving around a bit tomorrow. But it's me, Phil. Do you know what I mean? What do you expect?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm going to be jumping on the trains, going everywhere. So, yeah. And if you're going to the Africa OEA Festival on Sunday, I know you have to pay now, so it's not the same. But I'll be there in Sefton Park in Liverpool. So, yeah, all the fun of the fair. And we won't be doing an agenda on Monday because there's no point, really, unless something crazy happens. But do you want to move it to Friday in future, Phil, like we used to?
It's entirely to you. As I said to you, like, if you do it on Monday... Like when you said, "Oh, we do it on Monday because then we can," like, it's the agenda, but an agenda is boring. So in a meeting, it's the boring bit. It's the arguments that's the good bit, and the arguments happen at the end of the week. Okay, let's have an argument then. All right, swayed by debate. If that's what you're saying, I agree with you. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.